Well, you guys asked for this, so I have no choice but to deliver here. I'll show you guys how to get those fries to a low mid and low low, like this one. Whatever, like all the techniques and... Alright, here we go. First things first, I'm not doing a beginner tutorial here. I'm not gonna go over the bass. I'm not gonna go over all the you know. The reason why I don't want to do the beginner video for now is because I feel like first, there are millions of videos out there covering the beginner stuff, how to go from not screaming to the basic fry scream. It's kind of like trying to teach a blind person what the color yellow is when they've never seen it before. And like the learning curve for screaming kind of looks like low like this, and then you unlock the bass, and then you can learn everything else, because everything makes sense once you understand where the distortion comes from and where everything comes from. Like once you have the bass, which is the hardest thing to get, right? You can then make a lot of improvement. And I might change my mind later and do a video about it, but you guys are going to be disappointed in the sense that it's probably going to be very, very, very similar to everything that is out there currently. But that's out of the topic for today. Let's focus on how to get those fries lower. Okay, to me, there's a big difference between high screaming and low screaming. It's technically a matter of moving the distortion placement properly, but we'll get back to that later. Where did I start from? So my bass fry was kind of a yelly fry. So once I unlocked my first scream, it kind of sounded like this. Wow! Okay, so really fry, you know, like up there, like kind of like everything you've heard before, metalcore and everything, right? But you guys want to get to that fry, which is possible and really achievable, just requires practice and a lot of dedication. But I'll show you a few tips now so that you can get to there and master it. Okay, here we go. First of all, quick disclaimer, I gotta say, please guys, be careful. Like vocal health, like I say this every single video, but vocal health is the most important thing, okay? Like we wanna make as much progress as possible, but if you're out of the question for like months because you hurt yourself, you will not make progress. Please, please, please be careful. Drink a shit ton of water every day, every time you wanna practice. It's really important. Okay, if it hurts, stop. So let's go with common sense, okay? If you want to get the scream lower, we got to go with basic shit. Bigger is deeper. That sounded... I didn't mean it. Bigger is deeper in the sense that the bigger the resonance, like the cage of resonance. Sorry, I'm really French. What I'm trying to say is the bigger you make the space where the scream has to rebound in your throat and in your mouth and everywhere, the lower it should be. Like if you make a noise in a small space, and now if you make the same noise in a big cave, it's gonna be a lot different, you know? So it's all about making your instrument bigger so that it affects the depth of the scream. It doesn't really make sense right now when I'm trying to say it, but keep up with me. I'm going to explain it. So what you're trying to do is lower your larynx, okay? How do you do that? You know when you yawn and you kind of go like... Well, that position of the throat, I guess it's not... I'm not trying to say the throat, but that's like the only way I can really... say it. It's like that position that you put your throat in, going like, oh, like this, like your voice is deeper. Well, your scream is going to be deeper as well, okay? And that's something you got to try and master while doing the scream, while doing your fry scream. But you can't really do that while having your fry scream up there, you know? Like, Wah! You can't have it. You can't have your scream there and go down at the same time. You have to move the distortion placement to a closer position, okay? And that I feel is like gonna be the hardest part about this, but it's basically going from wow to wow, and then learning to project with it. It's gonna be a different projection. Like I'll speak for me. I can project a bit more when I'm in this position compared to up there. Wow! I can't project as much when I'm up there because I'm gonna lose the distortion and there's gonna be like too much voice in the scream. So it's like fine-tuning shit that you're gonna have to figure out. But getting the scream down there, it's probably going to be the hardest part about this whole thing here, okay? Also, this is basic and can apply like to false chords as well. But if you want to make a scream lower in general, lower the mouth, lower the jaw, make the space bigger like I was talking about earlier. If you lower the jaw, there's more space in your mouth. If you lower the mouth like this, sound has to travel like in your mouth and has to come out and it's going to make the sound lower. So instead of being like, whoa, it's going to be like, whoa. You know, drop the jaw, drop the mouth like this. In general, if it makes your voice deeper when you do it, it's probably gonna make your scream lower as well. Do not like compare your voice to your scream. I would rather compare whispers to screaming. So I talked about this in other videos, but doing whispers, so being like and then adding the scream under it can really help finding those mouth shapes, tongue placement, and distortion placement to achieve a technique in particular, in this case, a lower fry. So if I go like, I can hear that I go from higher pitch to kind of lower pitch. So it's gonna go like, when I add the distortion, the scream under all of that, okay? So it applies, you know? If I do my whispers and then I add my scream under it, makes it a lot faster, okay? Let's keep going. For learning new techniques like this one, you gotta always use your diaphragm, so push from the stomach down there. Like a common mistake that I would see people when they try to like make it lower here, they're gonna start breathing from their chest, and that's not good. Like when you see like the shoulders going like this, and when you have your chest that control your breathing, it's really bad and you can hurt yourself, basically is what I'm trying to say. So just use the same breathing techniques you would use for your fry. So with tall posture, use your belly down there. If you don't know how to use your diaphragm, I would suggest, I talked about this in my previous video, but you can push your fingers on the side like this. And when you're breathing out, your fingers should be pushed out, okay? And that's a good sign you're using your diaphragm properly. Let's go back to the moving of the distortion. So when I do that transition from the wow to the wow, it kind of feels like instead of being in the nose, like where the fry is usually, so up here, it's gonna go like here, like where the mouth is, like really here, okay? Usually to move distortion placement, I have a sound in my mind. So for a normal fry, the sound I have in my mind is which is like like up here, really in the nose, really where the fry naturally comes to me. And getting that lower, I'm kind of going for a sound that is more like a rah, rah, rah. And that's like here. And you can hear the larynx drop here because I go like rah. It's more like in the back. It's more, you know, over here. And moving that for the first time can kind of feel like I was talking about earlier, you know, trying to teach a blind person the color yellow when they've never seen it. It's like if you've never felt moving the distortion placement, it's kind of hard to grasp, right? But with practice and with dedication, if you plan your practice sessions and you keep at it, I am certain you will achieve it. Everybody can do it, okay? We all have a different instrument, yes, but it's kind of like comparing a saxophone with a different type of saxophone. They can do basically the same stuff, okay? Just keep at it, keep practicing, set up practice sessions in advance, set up what you're working on, track your progress, do all of that for this, and you will make it. I am not, like, I'm convinced. You can't convince me otherwise. Everybody can do this, okay? If you have the base of the fry, you can do a fry, you can get to that lower register place. It's just practice. It's all about practice. That being said, once you start getting a grasp of it, what you can do to practice and make it like master this stuff is once you get to the place, you can start moving the distortion placement from back to front. So boom, boom, boom. So you start mastering the front to back in that position, and then you can start adding techniques on top of that if you already know some techniques. So if you were doing like fries up there, like for highs with tunnels, for example. So if you were doing stuff like, you know, you can add that technique down there. It's just going to be a bit different, so you have to adjust a bit. So you're going to go like tunnels. I have a tutorial for tunnels. If you haven't seen it, there's going to be a link up there. You can check it out. Tunnels definitely help make your screams lower, in my opinion. So you go from like to kind of sounds lower. If you go like guttural type of shit, also sounds lower. So like okay, so there at the end, what I did is I did a low tunnel and I started pushing the air nasal. So it's just like, instead of like pushing my scream so that it comes out of my mouth, I pushed it so that it comes kind of out of my nose. So you can hear the difference here. I go like to, so like, that's really advanced, but like it's something you can work on with that lower fry register. I think that's it. Honestly, I'm trying to think about any other tip I could have for you. Honestly, it's like, it's all about practice. It's all about practice, and you got this. I mean, it's, guys, you got this. You got this. Like, come on, you got this. Okay, just practice it. Go in the car. Go for a car ride. You know, go for like an hour and practice it. You got it. Okay, I believe in you, guys. If it hurts, stop. Of course, stay hydrated. And don't give up. Don't give up. That's the best tip I can give you. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you guys want me to make a tutorial about. Let me know if you liked the video. And you got this. All right. See you guys. Ciao.